Okay, so how cell communicate with each other? By the process of cell signaling. So all cells can receive and respond to external signals from their surroundings. This can be accomplished by a variety of signaling molecules or signal molecules. Those are secreted or expressed on the surface of one cell, bind to the receptor expressed by the other cell, and then produce or initiate a transduction pathway. Each cell is programmed to respond to a specific extracellular signaling molecule. So, at first, synthesis and release of signaling molecule from a signal cell. So, this process starts with the synthesis and release of a signaling molecule by one cell. Next, second step is transportation of this signal or signal molecule to the target cell. Next, binding of signal by a specific receptor present on another cell, which leads to the activation, initiation of signal transduction pathway. The final step is the initiation. So, in case of animals, this extracellular signaling can be classified into four categories. One is endocrine signaling, next paracrine signaling, autocrine signaling, last one is juxtacrine signaling. In case of endocrine signaling, the signaling molecule act on the target cell, which is distantly located from the site of synthesis. This cell synthesize this molecule and it will transport it via the blood stream to the target cell, which is distantly located from the site of synthesis. This is called as endocrine signaling. Next one is paracrine signaling, where the signaling molecule released by a cell affect the target cell, which is present in close proximity of the site of synthesis. Next, this example of paracrine signaling is the action of neurotransmitters in carrying signal between the nerve cells at a synapse. So, those nerve cells are present at a very close proximity. Next, autocrine signaling, these molecules produce an effect on the same cell. Those molecules affect the same cell, called as autocrine. Autocrine means self. Next is juxtacrine. The signal molecule do not diffuse from the cell producing it, and cell bearing signal molecules interact with receptor protein of adjacent responding cell. So here in this case, two cells require physical contact between the cells which are involved. Physical contact is required in case of juxtacrine signaling. Examples are notch signaling and classical cadherin signaling. We will discuss all these examples one by one. Okay. Then different types of signals are called as ligands, which are involved in cell signaling. Signaling molecules are also known as ligands. These are substances that cells use to communicate with each other. One cell secretes signal molecule or ligand, another cell with receptor receive those signals to carry out one pathway or to initiate signal transduction pathway. So, one cell used to communicate with each other, transmitting information and coordinating cellular activities such as growth, development and response to environmental stimuli. Now, different types of signal molecules. One is extracellular signaling molecule, one is intracellular signaling molecules. Extracellular signaling molecules released by cells to communicate with each other, triggering specific function or response and coordinating cellular activities within the body. It is released from one cell and transported to another cell. Another cell receive this using receptor and carry out a specific function. Intracellular signaling, they relay signal within a cell in response to extracellular stimuli, initiating cellular response. So when extracellular signal received by a cell, it will activate intracellular signaling molecule. It relay the signals within a cell in response to these external stimuli, and these are called as generally secondary messenger. So released in response to signals from extracellular messenger and amplify the signal inside the cell. Okay. Next, different types of receptors. The cellular response to a particular extracellular signal molecule depends on its binding to a specific receptor located on the surface of the target cell or in its nucleus. Some receptors are intracellular receptor, which are located in cytosol or nucleus. Some are cell surface receptor, which are present on the cell surface. Basically, those receptors are proteins or glycoproteins. These intracellular receptors are receptor for steroid hormone, thyroid hormone, retinoids, vitamins. Some receptors are orphan receptors. They do not have any specific ligand. Next, cell surface receptors act as signal transducer to produce intracellular messenger. So these cell surface receptors are present on the cell surface, which include G protein coupled receptor, ion channel receptor, and enzyme linked receptors. So these are the examples or broad categories of cell surface receptors. We will discuss these receptors one by one.